everybody, and welcome to Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. It's a very special day here today because this is the first time I've been on this particular show here at this studio, the Roscoe's Media Center. And I want to thank particularly Johnny Morris and Crystal and a whole lot of folks. Of course, our engineer, LaRon, is here today. He's doing a good job for us. This is our first show, one of many that you'll be seeing in the future. And you can say, in a sense, Brewington is back. I worked for another company. We did a show called Actors Eat Chat for almost 2 years. And we had a lot of fun, had a lot of actors, a lot of celebrities. We had a great time. And so we want to continue that tradition. And today, I thought it would be most fitting to invite as our first guest the gentleman who was the first guest that we had on that other show. It was called Actors Eat Chat. This gentleman came with me together on Christmas Day 2 years ago. And he was the first of many, many, many. And I've worked with him for many. I've known him a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you a veteran actor, a producer, a real good guy. He likes dogs, too. His name is Ernest Harden Jr. Ernest, welcome.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much.
Glad you can make it again on this auspicious occasion.
It seems like, every holiday we get together.
Indeed. I mean, Christmas Day, here we are getting together to do a show like this. My goodness.
and that's a present for me.
Amen.
It's a blessing. That show was a really fine show. We had a lot of fun that day.
Yes, we did. We had a lady in there who was giving us a whole lot of orders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pepper J.
But she was really on her job.
Yes,
she was great.
I called her and told her we were going to do this show today, and she told me to send hi to you, say great to you.
Oh, wow, I love her. So tell her thank you. I'm glad she's, where did she go?
She went to Nevada. She's been here in this town in Hollywood for many, many years. Mm-hmm. She lost her father recently.
Oh, okay.
And she was producing, if you can dig this, 17 shows a month.
Wow.
Some were daily, some were quarterly, some were monthly, but 17 shows a month.
She was amazing. I mean, the fact that she knew all the avenues and how to pull up your information as an actor and do it on the spot. It was just so amazing for me to watch her work.
Indeed.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. That was a great show to be on.
She taught me a lot of good stuff, and I'm so sorry that she's not here. But here she's in spirit between the three of us. We're sitting here in spirit.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, my brother. When you read your resume, I mean, it's who's who. You've been, like we said, a veteran actor, a producer. Do you direct? Are you doing directing?
I was actually the last show I did. It was a theater piece. I was actually co-directing it with another guy. His name is TJ Ward, and we were just co-directing. And the fact that I was in it, and being it was a one-man show. I had a lot of ideas of how I wanted, in the direction that I wanted it to go. So that was really it really got my feet in directing, and I enjoyed it. And because normally, like as an actor, I just sit back and whatever they tell me to do, I do.
Right.
But I was taking charge, and I was involved with the entire project. It was called Beethoven's Misfortune Cookies.
Okay.
It was about a black professor at the University of Arkansas in the year 2000, so it wasn't that long ago, who got fired because he had sort of a radical teaching style. He used profanity in the classroom, but it wasn't...
Woke him up a little bit, huh?
Yeah, but the students loved him. But the faculty thought that was just too much, and they were looking for a way to get rid of him. He had taught over there for 11 years, so it was really it was a true story. And he was a music history professor. He taught music history, and he would teach everything from Beethoven. He did the gamut. He would teach about Beethoven all the way through to Miles Davis. I mean,
wow.
He was a really a brilliant guy. His name is Caven Thomas.
Was some of that of him come from you?
Actually, I helped write the piece.
Okay.
I mean, he went to a writer by the name of Joni Ravina. She lives in Vegas, and she's done some stuff, and he had a relationship with her. But the project was brought to me through the actor studio, through a member of the actor studio who's a director. And we started, he said, oh, just work on it. And so I really liked it. The fact that this brother was, we hear so many stories about how black people come from rough situations, and they're valid. Like if you watch a lot of August Wilson's works, you would see that, hey, well, these were rural blacks, and how they got through, and they made it, and it was uplifting stories. And of course, you can't knock them because August Wilson got Tony after Tony.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
yes, he did.
And he's one of our finest. He was one of our finest.
Yes.
But here's about a brother who's educated in a classroom, kind of a middle class person, but he has a story too, and the fact that he would, he was going through some demons that he had in his own. He had schizophrenic problems. His father was killed himself when he was a kid and all that. So it doesn't just stay in the classroom. It gets into his life, and they really thought this was Woody King, who he's a producer out of New York.
Yes, a well-known producer,
and who's been a friend of mine.
Yes.
Matter of fact, he gave me my first job at his theater years ago when I first went to New York from Detroit. And Woody King is also from Detroit, but I didn't know him there. He's a lot older, but he was there, and he looked out for me because we were from the same city.
Gotcha.
And he really liked the piece and he wants to bring it to New York. If you talk about, Beethoven, it's so great that we've already traveled a little bit with the play. We did it at the Odyssey for about a year. We were at Michigan State University. That's my alma mater.
Okay, didn't they get selected for the top 4 football for this year?
Yeah, we did. We just won
Congratulations.
Yeah, we did.
Congratulations.
I don't want to. I'll get into that, but I just wanted to tell you about the play. We did it there, and because the theater department actually brought me back to do it, and because I graduated there with a degree in theater, so it was like a homecoming for me.
Yeah.
It was a matter of fact, it was a theater called the Walton Center up there, which is an incredible theater. They have several theaters within this one building, but this one was about 600 seats. It was sort of like in the round, and it was a great experience. But he talks about, like, he says, Beethoven, I don't even think I can remember the lines now because I'm waiting to go to New York.
Gotcha.
But it was the Beethoven, he talks about Beethoven, born a certain time, essentially was a black man. And you could hear the audience, which was predominantly white up there, saying, yes, continue, little Negro. Let's hear this
little
one.
Negro, yes.
And I say, well, specifically his mother was a Moor, a group of northern Muslim Africans who conquered parts of Europe, making Spain their capital for some 800 years.
Was Othello a Moor?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. Yes.
So you knew that there was some mixing going on in 800 years. So Beethoven was a descendant of the Moors. His mother was a Moor. And so, he taught about all that, and the play is just phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. I put my heart into that, and I hope we get a chance to hopefully get to Broadway.
Okay. Now, you're in this movie, right?
This is a play.
This is a play, okay.
And I'm starring in it, yes.
Okay.
I'm the one man.
Did you bring something with you today? Is that the same thing you brought with you today?
No, actually, I brought something else. This is a little short film that we did. I starred in, but with the writer and director, who's also a member of the Actor Studio.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Actor Studio.
Please inform us on that, please.
But the Actor Studio it's been around since Marlon Brando. He was one of the Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, you name it. Al Pacino runs it in New York, and Martin Landau he runs it out here. They have an East Coast and a West Coast.
Okay.
Once you remember for life. I mean, it took me 3 times to audition to get in.
Wow.
But I didn't feel bad because it took Dustin Hoffman 6 times.
Wow.
So
we need to bring them down here to the studio and talk to them. Let me get a lot of people involved.
Well, it's really it's a prestigious group. It's like, and it's a gym for actors. And basically, if you get in, everything is open to you. They let you have a stage. You can work on anything. It's fantastic. Lee Strasberg actually started it.
The great Lee Strasberg.
Lee Strasberg was, and he actually started it. So these people came through there, and this one guy I met, his name is Mo Irving, who is a member, and decided he saw me and said, "Hey, well, could you? I'm doing a little short film. Could we do this project?" So it was called Stanford and Son, and he really wanted it to expose his brother, who is a rapper / a producer, and he's like he's worked with all these people like Ice Cube and Ice-T and all of them, but he's not a star. So he wanted to expose his music. That was one of the reasons that he wrote this and put this together. So we did it, and it was a little short film, and we're hoping that we can get it sold for a feature. And we took it, we entered it in a lot of film festivals, and killed them.
All right.
Everywhere, people stand up and applaud at the end, especially when they actually see me rap.
That's one of the main reasons why they applaud you.
But they actually see, he really knows how to rap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and his brother took me in the studio and we worked. And actually, like, there's a part in the film that shows us in the studio toward the end that you kind of see him working with me and all that. And the audience is they love it. So the theme of it is called Dreams Never Grow Old.
Okay.
So
this is the movie you're talking about.
And
why don't we go ahead, since you brought it, which is a nice time. Ron, can you go ahead and roll that movie right now? Can we roll it now?
Sure.
Get a chance to
run a little piece of it. Yeah. This scene is I've just come back. I'm in bad health. But I've just come back from hanging out with the fellas.
Gotcha.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Dad.
Kind of tired.
There's some food in the oven if you're hungry.
Oh, no, you know what? I'm going to go up and take a hot bath, and maybe I'll come and get something later.
Okay. Well, just let me know, because I can heat it up for you.
Okay.
Real quick, Dad, before you go, what's this flyer about?
Oh, that's a showcase that's about to happen.
I can see that, but why is it here? What was that? Why'd you just look at her like that?
Why don't I go get your bath started?
Landon, there's nothing happened. It's just none of your business, actually.
What's that supposed to mean?
That means that it's mine, and it doesn't concern you.
It doesn't concern me. Well, I think it absolutely concerns me. What, were you gonna go watch this?
No, I don't plan to go watch that.
Well, good, then I can throw it away.
No, I'm gonna be in that.
Come again?
I'm gonna be in that showcase.
Doing what?
I'm gonna do what I do. Rap.
Dad, you are not a rapper.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. There's no such thing as a 63-year-old rapper.
Yes, there is, that I'm him.
Is there like a hidden camera in my house? Because I just cannot believe I'm hearing this right now.
Look, Landon, I finally found something that I like to do, and I'm doing
Well,
it.
do something else.
Why? Because it doesn't look good to your associates?
No! It doesn't make me look good to my associates, and it doesn't make you look good.
You used to love rapping and DJ music. What happened to all that?
I grew up, Dad. That's what happened to that. I just simply cannot get behind this. Are you crazy, Dad? Is that what this is about? Is that my mom offed herself because you're freaking nuts?
You better watch yourself, boy. I am your father, and you will respect that. And be advised, I am never too old to put my foot in your ass if you ever raise your voice at me or talk about your mother in that offensive way again. Is that understood? Is that understood?
Yes, yes.
What?
Yes, sir.
By the way, if you want to go, I got the hookup.
Manson says he wants to thank all who donated to his cause. He wants to remind us that even though his journey is over, the battle against heart disease must continue. Tom and Harriet Banks are the
You coming?
of this past weekend Super.
Wow, that was a sight. That was a sight. My goodness, when you hit that young man. Now you really hit him, didn't you?
Actually, he acted. I swung at him, and he.
Wow.
And they did the sound.
I want to see the. Now, when is this movie? Tell us about when you think it's going to come out.
Well, you know what? It's actually just a short.
Okay.
It's only 25 minutes long, but
Okay.
I think he stuck it on YouTube.
Okay.
So if you go to Stanford and Son, you can find it on YouTube.
Stanford and Son.
Stanford, not Sanford.
Not Sanford.
But Stanford and Son.
Gotcha.
And he put it on YouTube, and we're trying to, get it exposed, and hopefully we're talking to some people like Lionsgate that'll help us make it into a film like 8 Mile or something,
Yes.
And so we got big hopes for it.
You're going to end up, let me see, you got a SAG card now. You probably get in a Producers Guild, and definitely you might be in a Directors Guild after a while. Keep this up.
Hey, well, I'm just trying to do what I do.
Hey, man, it's coming full circle. They said, why can't a guy 63 years old be a rapper? You've been around long enough. You've done all these different things. Now you're using your talent with these guys and spreading the wealth, if you will.
Right.
Now, you told us you're from Detroit, Motown.
Originally, yes.
Originally, okay. What was it like growing up in Motown?
You know what? It was so funny. Someone on Facebook sent me a video of how Detroit used to be.
Okay.
And it was just, we had such a good time growing up in Detroit. Detroit was vibrant, had about 2 million people. It was the 5th largest city in the country at the time. We saw the stores were the Woodworths and J.L. Hudson's and the Tiger Stadium, and everything was just, alive. And then later on, it was just after, I don't know, they had a big exodus.
Yes, Mr. Gordy came this way.
Now it's, well, Gordy came this way. That was one thing. Yeah, Motown. We watched Motown growing up. When I grew up in kind of my parents are both educated. My father went to Morehouse, and my mother went to Spelman. So my father was a Morehouse man, and but they were young, and he went to the Army and came out and got a GI Bill. So they bought a house in Detroit. They left Atlanta, where they were originally from, and moved to Detroit, and that's where my sister and I were born. The thing is, the house they had area started getting bad later on, because back then they had something called white flight, where black move in the neighborhood, everybody was gone, and so it turned. So the neighborhood was black. We had good people, and we had bad people. The neighborhood got to be sometimes pretty rough. But I remember sitting on my friend's porch and seeing these cars go by. Back then, the Buick was. The deuce and a quarter.
Deuce and a quarter, oh yeah.
See, what's the hot car and all American cars?
Yes.
They were the best designs, and it's amazing. We just sat there. You could see any of the Motown people driving by on the street. Oh, there's David Ruffin. Oh, there's Smokey Robinson. I mean, we just see them. And then growing up, and we would go down to a skating ring, and you see Stevie Wonder would get up and sing, and then they did the Motown Review, And we were growing up, we would see all that. My mother said, "Oh, I don't know if I want to, they might start fighting down there. Oh, please, Mom, let me just go and see the Motown Review." All right, you know. It was so exciting, you know. We just had, I had a ball. I had a ball in Detroit. I really did. It was a shame, like I say now, there was this big exodus, and now it's probably like about 700,000 people from 200 million to 2 million. Right. And it's, you know, but they say it's coming back. A friend of mine, who his name is Nicholas Hood III, his father was on the council seat. His father helped give, he was real political, and he gave Andrew Young his first job.
All right.
Yeah. And
so you know.
It's who you know, and so he was our minister. So I grew up in a church that was very political, and I met Jackie Robinson when I was a baby, young guy. I met him, and I met Martin Luther King.
All right.
Yeah, they came to our church, but his son got into politics, went to Yale, ended up getting into politics, and he ran for mayor a couple of times, but he didn't win. He lost against a guy that they called the hip-hop mayor. I can't remember his name now. A young guy, met him, but he's in jail now.
Oh, yes, the mayor of Detroit, yes.
Mayor of Detroit,
His
man.
mother was a congressperson.
His mother was in politics. She had some position, I don't remember, but
he's in jail.
He's in jail for like 26 years or something
like
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he really
got
took
his
a lot
hands
of
dirty.
money. He
Real
really
dirty.
did. But
Yes,
he beat my friend out, and my friend would have been a much better mayor.
Right.
But that's how it goes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed growing up in there. I went to high school there, and then I eventually went to college, Michigan State.
Gotcha. When did you finally or first get into acting? What brought you there?
You know, it's so weird. I was blessed I love two things. I love sports. I love basketball. A lot of my friends went to play pro basketball, but basketball didn't love me, so to speak. I really loved it. I could shoot the ball and all of that, but I was short. I mean, 5'10" at that time. Everybody was 6'5" and all that. You know, I had a friend named Ralph Simpson who had a lustrous career. Also, Spencer Haywood, if you heard of him, he went to my high school, and he just got entered in the Hall of Fame this year.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a gold medal, and he had a lustrous career at the NBA level, and we talked because we're talking about trying to. I really want to do a documentary on him because we actually want to do a movie with him. So we've been talking all the time about trying to get a documentary made about him, especially him getting into the
biopics are very popular these days.
Especially that 30 for 30 and all of that. But getting into, especially him getting into the Hall of Fame from where he came from, which was from Mississippi, and picking cotton. So yeah, he's got an interesting story. So I mean, you run into all these people along the way, and they really, things are, eventually you meet them again when they're doing things and they come full circle. But like I said, my years in Detroit were fantastic. And then when I finally left, I was armed with a degree in theater.
So you had no problems from the parents about becoming an actor?
No, because my parents were happy that I graduated. Okay. Now my sister was a PhD. She's a PhD.
Okay.
But she was always the studious student, and she stayed. They wondered about me. But I actually I loved acting. Because it didn't require height like basketball, and I just fell into it from elementary to junior high school to then I just said, well, I've been doing this whole time. I'll continue in college.
Gotcha.
And so I just was I was following the pretty girls. Really, I think that started me.
Smart man.
But yeah, I stayed into it. Like I got a degree in theater. I got serious about it when I probably in the middle of high school, I got really serious about it.
Now, your education and training, somewhere along the line, a school jumped up, or a training side jumped up in your face. They called it ICCC. Can you tell us about that, sir?
Oh, you know, I love that place because when I came out here, I didn't really know that many people. I got a little exposure from because I lived in New York, but Francis Ford Coppola brought me out to L.A. To screen test for this movie called Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
But I didn't get it. A little guy beat me out for the role.
What's his name? Was it Fishburne?
Lawrence Fishburne,
Yeah, that's when they called him Larry back in them days.
he didn't want you to call him Larry. We used to call him Larry.
Yeah, right.
But he didn't like that, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to see him in New York. He's a little bit younger than I am,
Right.
actually. But we were up for the same role, but you know, he got it, and but I stayed around, and eventually I got on a show called The Jeffersons.
Yes, the Jeffersons.
But before The Jeffersons, that's when I was going around and looking around and meeting people, and I got to know the L.A. crowd, and ended up doing some things at the Inner City Cultural Center.
You know, they just celebrated their 50th anniversary.
Wow.
50 years.
It was such a blessing for all of us because, I mean, being a black actor is very difficult to find work.
Yes.
And it's hard for everybody. It's a very difficult business. But especially for us, it's just not as many roles. But that was one place that was a sanctuary that we all came and could work.
Indeed.
And, I was a young actor, and they looked at me, I'll get in here and come in here and do something. And I really enjoyed it. I did about like 3-4 plays there. Wow. One, they had a competition toward the end where it was a play competition where, you know, you competed, these plays competed against each other. And I think we won one year. I can't remember the name of the play. I wish I could.
That's okay.
But it was a 2-man show, and we won it one year. So that was just, you could put that next to an Emmy and Oscar for me. I thought that was just that was just so great. I felt great after winning that.
Because when you look at the persons who graduated from that school, Denzel Washington, Lou Gossett Jr., it just goes on and
One
on
play I
and
did
on. Yes.
was directed by Glenn Turman.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. And it was myself and Mark Kopach. We did the Jesse
Right,
Owens
Mark Kopach,
story about Jesse Owens and the other guy who was his Metcalf.
Yeah. Ralph Metcalf.
I played Ralph Metcalf.
All right.
And little Mark Kopach, who,
Was a kid then.
yeah, if you're not familiar with him, it was a show called Julia, and he was the
son. Yeah.
He was the little son, but he was growing up now, and so he played Jesse Owens, I played Metcalf, and it was and that's where, I mean, Glenn Turman directed it. It was, and we had a nice run. I had a good time over there. That was just a wealth of talent. Who was the lady that always taught over there?
There was a couple ladies that always saw it.
But she was a renowned actress, one of our finest.
Not Rosalind Cash.
Rosalind Cash, but it was an older woman. The last thing she did was a piece in a movie that Oprah produced called Beloved.
Okay.
And she had a great scene toward the end of the movie.
Now you got me thinking, who was that?
Yeah, but she was, I used to see her over there all the time teaching and giving of herself.
Gotcha.
It was a great place.
The gentleman who did it, C. Bernard Jackson.
Yes.
Recently, I just got affiliated with the organization in some kind of way, and one of the things that I would love to bring to their attention is that we would pursue the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce to have a star put down on Hollywood Boulevard for the man who started for black people an opportunity to become an actor.
Exactly.
Something like that you don't forget.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly. That should have been done. As
Right.
far as
Long
I'm
overdue.
concerned. Yeah,
Long
long
overdue.
overdue. I
Right.
mean, C. Bernard Jackson was, he's an icon in my mind.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Never met him, but I've heard so much about him.
Great guy. Just like I said, he would bring you in like family.
Yeah, like
And,
that.
he was the head of that. I was a kind of a young guy coming in, so I didn't hang with him all the time,
Right.
like, Glenn Turman. You would
Right.
see those people, they knew him for years.
For years,
but
yeah.
but he always treated me with respect. And like I said, he gave us an opportunity to work with
Gotcha.
young actors.
1975, your first break, a movie called 3 Days of the Condor.
It sure was.
Who was the guy that was in it that helped you get in that movie? Robert
Redford
Oh, yeah,
didn't
yeah.
actually help me get in. It's funny. I went to in New York. You could hustle more so than L.A. You'd sort of wait by the phone for somebody to call your agent to call you. But in New York, I didn't know you could hustle, go to different casting calls, agents, wherever. They had a newspaper called the Backstage.
Backstage.
And we go and you get that. I would get up at 4 in the morning and try to get that thing out off the press. I had that hustle and spirit, and I was young and just drive.
Yeah.
I got that actually from my father. My father was really, he said, son, it's supposed to drive you by day and burn you at night. I never forgot
Good
that.
man.
Yeah. So I would be up at 4 in the morning trying to find auditions, because if you're not in the union or anything, if you had no agent,
Right.
that was sort of like a Bible for you.
Right.
So, and I'd go to everyone that I thought I would fit, and ended up I was going looking for an agent through this paper, and I went to the wrong audition. And this guy, they were auditioning for 3 Days of the Condor, and I said, "Oh, sorry." I saw them reading and filming, and the guy said, "Get over here, get over here." Okay, and he says, "I like you. Are you Screen Actors Guild? Are you SAG?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "If you lie, they blackball
That's
you."
right.
And I said, "Oh no." He said, "But I like you anyway. I want you to read this." And I read it for him. He says, "Okay, I'm going to send you over to the set." And I'm thinking, set? Okay, great. And he says, "If they kick you off because you're not union, then they just do. But I really like you. I think you're perfect for this." And so I went over there, and make a long story short, I was on a bus, and all these extras were getting up. I didn't know the difference between an extra and a person with the actual role. I had a role, and he says, they called my name, and I thought they were just going to kick me out. They got me, and I thought they were going to kick me out, but they took me to where the action was. And here it was, I had this big fro. I was young then, and it was all these people roped on each side of the set, and they were screaming and hollering, and I said, "Wow, this guy Robert Redford must be pretty popular."
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know.
At the time.
And then the thing is, they saw me as a young black guy. They didn't know who I was. They said, "The only one we know is Jermaine Jackson. It must be Jermaine Jackson."
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. I said, anyway, got there, and he says, "Hey, this is Sidney Pollack. I'm directing this, and this is Robert Redford, and you guys got scenes together." And that's it. And I'm thinking in my mind, us, of course, us.
Yeah.
And I worked a week on that. It was great. I got to meet Robert Redford, who I saw later on in a film that was he did with Woody Harrelson called Indecent Proposal. I became tight with Woody because I was one of the stars of White Men Can't Jump.
Right.
And he says, "Your boy's down here, come on down," and hung out. And Robert Redford, Ernest Harden Jr., That's all he said all night. It was fun. We had a good time.
Gotcha. 1977, you talked about it earlier, the Jeffersons. Can you tell us quickly about that?
Jeffersons I went in and auditioned for the Jeffersons as a character named Jason King. And I got the role. They told me I had the role, and so I was just, so happy and enthusiastic and wanted to do the best I could. It was a role where I gave George Jefferson a scroll. I was a member of kids juvenile health center,
Yes.
and his wife used to go and volunteer. Wheezy used to volunteer, and she brought me, and she gave a scroll to the kids because he was doing stuff with his money to help the community.
Yes.
And I was one of the kids, and I gave him the scroll. Well, actually, it was 15 minutes. It was the last 15 minutes of one of the shows. After that show, they called my agent and said, you know what, we really like him, and we want him to play a regular role on the show. Would that be okay? I'm like, yes. So when they brought me in, I looked for the guy. I sat at the producer's office. His name was Don Nichols. There were 3 producers, but Don Nichols was one of them. And I sat in his office. I looked. He gave me the script. I looked through the script. I didn't see Jason at all, and I was like, "Well, I guess they're going to start me off small." Well, he says, "So how do you like the script?" Well, was I going to tell him no? I said, "Oh yeah, it's great, great." Even though I don't see a line, he said, "Yeah, Marcus, it's going to be real good for you." And I saw Marcus on every page, and I said, "Okay, I'm Marcus," and that was the beginning of Marcus. And it was. He says, "Look, if you fall on your face, that's gonna be it. But this is your screen test. We're gonna do one of the shows and screen test you." Well, the rest is history. I did it for 4 years.
Wow. Sherman Hemsley, what a guy.
He was a great friend.
Yeah.
I love Sherman. He just had a carefree personality, and he just had a lot of fun in life. But he was a great actor. He was special.
Yeah, passed away in 2012, yeah.
Yeah, and Isabel Sanford, they were all great. Mr. Bentley, his name was Paul Benedict, they would all help me. I didn't even have a car when I first started the show. They would take me home. Isabel would help me with my lines. I got to we all became family.
How'd you put up with that Marla Gibbs person? What did she say?
Marla was from Detroit.
Yes.
I knew Detroit. I knew her in Detroit.
All right.
But it didn't dawn on me who she was because I hadn't seen her in years. I knew her daughter, Angela, who's out now on a show called Jesus, Black Jesus.
Okay.
And I really, like me and probably half the city of Detroit, liked her daughter. And then Marla, too. Marla, back in the day, was fine.
Yes, she was.
She was fine.
She was.
So we were all like, oh, wow, we were little young high school guys. Oh, we could just get one of them. But they moved out to L.A., and I didn't hear anymore. And then next thing you know, I see her son on the set of the Jeffersons. What are you doing here? He said, I'm here with my mom. And we were looking at each other all week trying to figure out where we knew each other. And then we says, that's your mom? Oh, that's Miss Gibbs? And he said, yeah, Marla Gibbs. And we ran in there. Do you remember Bobby Sharp? You remember all these people we knew? Yeah. So it was a small world. We met on a set. Yeah. So, but she's from Detroit. Actually, she's from Chicago, but she had all her kids in Detroit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great lady. I see all the time.
Yeah. Oh, she's fantastic.
Yes. We could talk about all the shows you've been on for hours because you've been on so many. I mean, your resume is that long and that deep.
Well, I'm old.
You're getting older. You performed last year because I know you do some stage work, and I had the pleasure of working with you on in the second annual Black Theater Festival at the what theater was that and was that?
That was the Leimert Park.
Leimert Park, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some fun that one.
We had
you started it. I was the narrator.
You sure were,
Yeah.
and you were great.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, you were.
Fun working with you guys. Yeah.
We had fun. It was actually a play reading,
Right.
and Ian Fox, who's also from Detroit,
Right.
directed it, and we got great response. I don't know. They were talking about like trying to really,
make a movie,
making it into or actually having us play the roles in a stage production. It was just for that festival, and so we didn't we knew the parts were basically we were reading them on stage, but it turned out to be really, really nice, and it turned out to be really a lot of fun. We got a lot of exposure from all the Facebook people who came to see it. Really seemed to like it, and it was we had a good time. I was hoping they would do something, but I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
Gotcha. It was a lot of fun. I got working with you. It was just a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, you were great. You were
had a good
great.
time, man. Had a good time. You have to stand up as an actor. You're on a set. Sometimes you're on a stage. What's it like when you're standing in front of those cameras, or when you're standing up on that stage in front of that audience? What's that like?
You know what? I feel that you have to. First of all, you have to be prepared, and then you concentration and focus is pretty much a lot of it, or if not all of it. You have to be. I'm so into what I'm doing, either be stage or film. I basically almost lose myself.
Right.
Yeah. So if I'm talking to you on a camera is like a much more intimate medium. So I'm talking to you, I'm talking like this. The camera's doing a lot of work of showing the emotion and what I'm trying to say. It's right there in my face. But if I'm in theater, maybe it's a little bit bigger, but it's still, the concentration is there. I don't really see the audience. I don't see anybody else. If I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. I'm leaving soon, and you'll forgive me if I speak bluntly, but the universe grows small every day, and the threats of aggression by any groups anywhere can no longer be tolerated. I mean,
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
and it's like, I'm focused, and that's anything.
Right.
It's funny. I shouldn't be saying this, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to, but
Won't leave this room.
from here I'm running off to shoot a commercial.
Yes.
For KFC, but it's a big campaign.
Right.
But the thing is, I read what I was supposed to do in the callback, and so I took it as, even though it's just a commercial,
Right.
I put myself into that character as if I was like, really doing it.
That's right.
For real. And I think that's a method that we're taught at the actor studio. No matter what you do, pay attention to all the detail and work on every aspect of it. And Mark Landau, who's actually my acting teacher, because I'm there and under him, that is what we do over there. And I think it's so beneficial, because you lose yourself. You are just into that person. You're not like trying to make yourself look good. You're being.
Yes.
You see?
Yeah.
So I think
I like when you
that
say
covers
that.
across the board.
Yes. Yes.
From film as well as theater.
Theater.
You're trying to become, and you're being that person, and however you look will be the right look.
Exactly. Because as you know, during the Super Bowl, a commercial costs big money. I mean, you got 30 to 60 seconds to convince the consumer to go out and buy a product, and you're telling the story. You're acting and telling a good story.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if you're in front of a few people
Yes.
at a theater, it's the same thing.
Yes, sir.
You're giving yourself, and you're being true to that character.
Gotcha.
And if people can feel it, if you can feel it,
Right.
then people can feel it.
What about the characterization that you as an actor go through? And once you got your character down, how do you bring all that feeling, all that imagination? I mean, those are just words on a script. You, with the talent and the actor that you are, you make those words come alive.
Well, there you go. You make those words come alive. You're so far from those words by the time you're performing it. I mean, I can do those words backwards, by the time I get to where I'm at performance level, those words are like in me.
And you.
So they're not, if you're still struggling about a script, then you're not even close. For me, it's like those words are ingested in my soul.
Gotcha.
So now it's just like if you're playing sport, I'm quite sure a basketball player doesn't say, okay, I push the ball here, and now I catch it with this hand and pull it back or something. He knows what to do, and so it's in him. Well, that's the same principle that's as an actor that you have to have. You have to, and that might come from, however you get there, that might come from repetition, or whatever, but you have to take that time to ingest it.
Yes.
Then once you ingest it, then you can feel it and start to regurgitate what you know, and then a director will come in and say, can you do it like this? Well, you can do it like that because you know it. You're a master at it.
Right.
If you can do it like this, you can do it like that.
Sure.
And I like this this karate movie. I love this karate movie. It's a real true story about the guy who taught Bruce Lee.
Okay.
It's called the Ip Man. I think his name was IP, Ip.
Yep.
And he taught Bruce Lee. And I don't know how they did that choreography because those fight scenes look so real.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what I got of it is just the fact that every day he was hitting his wood and board and working, and you see him doing this to this until like he was the best around.
Yes.
But he would, to where there was no situation he saw that he couldn't handle. It's just like anything. Acting is just like anything in life. You have to prepare yourself to be. See, so many people feel like they want to skip to, oh, well, I want to be on TV. Oh, well, I want to do this or I want to do that.
Right.
And they don't respect really getting into the craft, you know? And that's what takes time, because actors who know the craft say, oh, look at that. They don't really know. They can tell. I want to be good, so I'm respected among my peers as well as the general public. You can fool the general public to a point, but you can't fool your peers.
No.
And that's in anything.
Yeah.
So if you have that same spirit, I just say it's only energy, and if you put it in, you can rest and then put some more in. You can always get it back. So don't be afraid to put down energy. Don't be afraid to get into it. And I just really feel that I always felt that way, and hopefully, during the course of my career, it will be recognized by everybody.
Gotcha. Because I like to go to plays myself. At least go one a week. This past weekend, Don B. Welch had a play over at the
Okay. Yeah, I know him.
E-Bill. And I mean, standing remotely. People like to see a good play. They love those plays.
He's gotten popular. Will
We're
Smith
going to have him as a guest on the show.
was behind him.
Yes.
Yeah, I did one of his shows.
Yes.
Yeah, me and Marla Gibbs, matter of fact.
Marla Gibbs. Okay.
And Don Lewis was in it. And he's good. He's very good.
The roles that you do, I know you only have a few minutes left. The roles that you do, how do you go about selecting those roles?
I really, on a big scale, before, a black artist didn't have, unless he was just a big star, he didn't have the opportunity to select. They would give you, like, at one point, blacks were only playing pimps.
That's right, dirty people. Yeah.
Or this and that, street stuff. And back in the day, blacks were playing maids and butlers. That's all they could get.
Stepping fetches.
So it was, even stepping fetches. And I'm not putting any of that down, because that was a foundation for us to drive our Jeeps through the promised land. They cut down all the trees, Yeah. So I never put that down. But now we have a little bit more of opportunity to, and especially me being out here as long as I have, I got enough where I can, no, I don't want that role, or yeah, I'll take that one, So how do I choose it? I choose the role that for me personally, if it has some integrity, if it's not going to offend myself or my people. because I am exposed to a lot of people, and the fact that the young people coming up, there's so many people that come up and say, hey, Ernest, I am so glad to meet you.
Yes.
I admired you and I admired your work. I just want, not everybody feels that way about their careers or feels that they, Charles Barkley says, hey, I'm not a role model, but I feel that the public is the one that makes you.
Yeah, right.
And so I do feel a little responsibility of not doing anything where they can see that and feel that expose myself to. I want to stay over the level where I respect it by not only them but their parents.
Gotcha. Is there a role, what I would call a dream role, that you have wanted to do but it hasn't been written yet for you?
That's a good question. It's a lot of stuff that they haven't done.
Excuse me.
When I was younger, I really wanted to play Martin Luther King, but but I feel I'm a little bit too old now. But
There's an old Martin Luther King. You can always get you in there.
But I mean, I have a dream one day this nation will rise up,
Come on.
live out the true meaning of its creed.
Come on, bro.
That we hold these truths self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day
Ernest Harden Jr., y'all. Ernest Harden Jr.
4 little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream. I actually do that. I've done it for 3,000 people. This group calls me to do it in front of people downtown.
Yes.
And so I actually get the speech down and do it. So I don't know how Martin Luther King felt in front of 20,000 people, but even in front of 3,000 people, I had a good feeling of how he must have felt, and that's incredible. So that was incredible, man. I always wanted to do that, or just play something, just important. The role will come up. I believe the Creator, God, Jesus, will allow my life to turn out the way I want. If I believe it will, and no matter what anybody says, it'll come the way it's supposed to come for me.
Amen.
And I'm really happy, and the fact that my father said he had a lot of antidotes that he would give me, but he said that no matter what someone else believes, don't let that. A ship can't sink unless the water gets inside it. So don't let what people say get inside of you, and you'll stay afloat. And that's the truth. They can tell you anything. They can tell you what you can't do. They can tell you what's not going to happen. But if you don't believe it, then it won't come to pass. Whatever you believe will happen, and I know that for a fact. I know that too many times in my life that I felt that, wow, what's next?
Yeah, what's next?
We all go through that. But I stayed focused, kept my belief in the Most High, and something good would come, better than I imagined it. And it always worked like that. So who am I to stop believing now?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Black actors are working. The Wiz just hit last week.
Yeah.
Ooh, Viola Davis, she got her Emmy.
Oh yeah,
man.
she deserves one. She's incredible. Yeah, so we've still tough, but we're really starting to get recognized. I am so happy for that.
Yes.
Your boy Spike Lee's coming out with a new movie.
Yes, I want to see that.
Yeah, it looks like he always. I do admire the fact that he has the guts to tackle these current issues.
Yes.
And
they gave an honorary Oscar about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, long overdue.
Oh, okay.
Long overdue.
That's great. I actually was in one of his movies, but I wasn't in it. I was sort of in it. He took it was a movie called, what was the movie where the characters had blackface? And I should know what it was.
Because he only
But
had
he took a clip from the Jeffersons and took a clip of me
Okay.
and the Jeffersons, and it was in it. So I was in Spike Lee's, one of his movies by default, I guess.
Yes, he was great. He's a great guy. Like, well, I had a chance to meet him years ago when I used to do the Junkies. But he's always got some. The first time he started with the movies with Sam Jackson, he always has the same actors with him. They carry him through. They put his signature right there. Right there.
Yeah, he's tight with Denzel too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we were.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I was doing a play, a gospel musical play
Right.
years ago called Mama Don't, and we were in New Orleans, and Denzel came and saw it. And said, "Hey, man!" So me and D, we used to call him D. I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while, but me and D hung out and talked about. Just talked about Spike Lee, and he was talking about, maybe doing something with him, his next thing. And what was so funny is, it's amazing. I thought I was sort of popular, like when you go out the street, people say, "Hey, how you doing?" Man, it was pitch black night. We're in New Orleans, crowded. People were just coming from we were walking, Denzel and I, and people were just coming from roofs or whatever. "Hey, D." I mean, this guy is like, he
Came out of that inner city group.
He came. Well, you know what? I knew him when he first came to town. He was actually like, he was in New York. He did this thing called, he did this play about Malcolm. And he also did another play about a soldier, the soldier story.
Right.
He did that and I think that play went to Broadway out of the Negro Ensemble Company back there, who was started by, one of the founders was Robert Hooks. Yeah, Robert Hooks, Kevin Hooks' father.
His father, yes.
And who was a star himself on NYPD.
Yes, one of the first pioneers.
I think he has a book out that just came. Yeah, so he's like I say, one of our finest as well.
Yes, I saw him a couple of weeks ago at the Inner City Cultural event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he looked good. I walked over to shake his hand.
Oh, he always looked good.
He always looked good. Handsome.
Yeah, handsome.
Suave and debonair.
Suave and debonair. But he was, but the thing was, he was really, what was my train of thought? We were, anyway, Robert Hooks and Denzel came and so I met him like when he came out here.
Yes.
And we were both up for this movie, Same Old Song or something. The movie he actually got, Michael Schultz was directing.
Yes.
And I just finished doing White Mama with Betty Davis.
Gotcha.
That was a film that I starred with Betty Davis. So I was kind of hot, but Denzel got this role, and then he just went on and got into a show, a medical show, and then he just had a great agent. It took him from there, and they started to do Soldier Story as a movie, so he had already done the plays. He knew the role. And he got an Oscar nomination for it. I don't know if he got one for it, but so that's careers.
Okay, we got just a few moments left. Before we walk out of here, Ernest, Ernest Harden Jr., how do you want to be remembered?
I just want to be remembered as someone who tried to put his stamp on this business, and hopefully it will inspire the younger ones to just come up and say, "Hey, listen, you know what? I can do that too. I want to do that too," and influence the younger people just to come up and because people like Richard Roundtree and all that inspired me as a dark-skinned actor. I said, wow, you know what? I want to be like that, and I feel that I just hope that I can influence someone to want to even do what I'm doing and go higher.
Okay. My brother, we're out of time. God bless you. Thank you for
God
coming
bless
in.
you,
We'll
too.
see you again some other time.
We'll
Yes.
see next Christmas.
Oh, yeah, we'll make this an annual event. Every Christmas we get together and get in front of the camera.
Yeah,
Thank you
exactly.
so much. God bless you. Happy holidays to you and the family.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
You too.
Thank you very much. This is Access Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. We will see you again another time. Thank you for joining us.